All right, we're live.
All right. Hey everyone, I'm Morgan Mendelson.
I'm Jared Samuels.
And we're bringing you the 17th episode of What's Behind the Game, where you'll get an exclusive look at how your favorites eat, train, and anything else you'd like to know. Today on the show, we have Alex Rogers. Alex is a highly accomplished cross-country runner at the University of Texas and has competed on the national stage multiple times. So let's welcome Alex.
Hello, everybody.
Hey. How's it going?
That's great. I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Good.
We're doing good.
Yeah, always.
So I wanted to start by asking you, when did you get started with running, and how long have you been running competitively?
So I started running my sophomore year in high school. I thought I'd be a basketball player, but turns out you can't be a basketball player and be 5 foot. So transitioned into cross country running, and I've been running ever since. So it's been coming up on year 7 for me for competing.
Wow, congrats.
Oh, thanks.
What attracted you to long distance running? Because we were talking a little bit beforehand, people like me, Morgan, probably we're not really into running forever. What attracted you to that?
Honestly, it's just kind of like at a point you realize that you get out what you put in. So I'm a workhorse, worked really hard. And then once I figured out that you can have like great benefits from that, it just kind of stuck with me. It's like the old cliche saying of like, it chooses you. And that's what happened. It chose me. At a certain point, you realize like I can be pretty good at this and I want to keep going with it.
That's awesome.
Got lucky.
So, why did you pick UT?
More of the question is of like, how could I not pick UT? Like,
that's right.
I was being recruited.
Not to a Red Raiders, so.
Yeah, oh gosh, I'm sorry. I was being recruited by a lot of smaller D1 schools, and then I went out in cross country my senior year, and I won the race pretty handily. And the UT coach happened to be there, and he's just like, he came over, he was like lurking around our camp, and he slipped me his card. He's just like, we want to get you here on a visit. I was like, all right, dude, that's really cool. I didn't think that I was going to go to like a big school or anything. I wasn't running that fast and stuff yet. So then I came on a visit, and then after I saw everything that it had to offer, it was just it was a wrap. I had a visit lined up to Arkansas, who at the time was doing better athletically, but academically, you can't really compare apples to oranges. It's just way better here at UT.
Understandable. So what does a typical practice day look like for you?
Wake up 5:50, get to practice at 7, run 10 miles, get some recovery work in throughout the day whenever I can, and then come back in the afternoon and do about like 3 or 4 mile shakeouts. So we're looking at maybe like 14 miles an average on every day. And that's excluding Sunday, which is our long run, where like you go anywhere between 16 to I've done 18 miles. And then we have like our 2 hard workout days that are like, we have like a session in the morning, and then we have a session in the afternoon of like tempo work or speed, turnover, lactic thresholds, things along those lines. But most average days, the 3 times a week, we'll just run 10 miles, then come back and just do a shakeout, just kind of get the blood flowing again and like kind of all the bad junk out of your legs.
Right.
I like how casually you said 10 miles.
It's second nature to me now. Once you do something, it's just all a habit.
Oh, man. So have you had any like major setbacks or injuries in your career? Anything that you've had to fight through?
Honestly, I have not. I have been very fortunate. I mean, I have mild scoliosis, but it doesn't affect me into such a way that I can like not run. Every once in a while it gets uncomfortable, but you go see the trainers, they help you and they take care of it. The funniest thing and the worst injury I've ever had was I strained my butt cheek. You wonder, it's just like, wow, how do you do that? Do a lot of, it happened in weights, and that put me out for a couple weeks. I was doing a lot of rehab work, and I was just like thinking, how is this going to happen for me? It was earlier this year. It was right before cross country. It was right before my first meet of the season, and I was really nervous. I ran on it. I did okay, but then took those next 2 weeks to kind of rehabilitate, and then I got back into it and I found my stride. It started healing on its own. I was like, oh, thank you.
Now, my little brother actually did that, and he was like, how do I tell the coach?
Yeah. Oh, it's terrifying. I didn't want to tell him. I was just like, especially because of a weird injury. It's like, hey, yeah, I strained my butt cheek.
What's your favorite race? Like, what's your favorite race to run? What?
My favorite race, like event wise?
Yeah.
Or just, I'd have to say that I am partial now to the 3,000 meter because I got the school record in that. But probably my favorite is the mile. That's kind of what I was geared towards coming into college and what I've stuck through for over 4 years. Yeah, long time coming of breaking the 4-minute barrier. Did it this year. Very happy, very proud. To do that is a big accomplishment.
So you've made the academic honor roll a few times.
Yeah.
And how do you balance like academics and athletics?
Some would say it's hard. Some say it's easy. I find myself right in the middle to where like it's like just hard enough to where you can manage it. You kind of get it into the habit. Like I said, like I'm an old man now. It's weird to think about, but I'm like on my way out. So I figured out like what to say to professors and how to like talk to them and just act like they're going to help you most of the time. So as long as you're proactive about talking about days that you're going to miss, or, you know, like some unexpected events come up where you got to get out and you got to go like watch your friends race or something like that. Like most of the time, if you're like proactive about it, they'll be pretty okay with it. And I've gotten pretty good at that. And just making sure that you get the work done whenever you need to. You kind of like look at your whole week of just like, okay, I got to race this week. Like I have something due on Thursday. I'm racing on Thursday. I'm not trying to do homework on race day. So I'm going to probably get that done today or tomorrow just to kind of set it up to where I can just focus solely on my race and give dedicated amount of time to the academic side of it too.
Sure. And you mentioned that you do hold the record for the 3,000 meter. Did you think that race was any different from your other races? Like, do you feel like there was other races that were better than that one?
To where I felt better about it, like definitely breaking 4 minutes for the first time was like, that was like what I've been waiting for so long. But the difference of when I ran that was just the confidence that I had. I mean, I hadn't run that race in over 2 years. And, you know, I was going in there, I was like feeling very nervous. I didn't know how fast I was going to run. But every lap I would come around and I'd make eye contact with my coach, and he would be coaching me, and he would just be like, you know, take a breath, or he's like, get that guy. He was just very calm, kept me to where I needed to go. So at the time, I mean, I didn't even have to think. Like I just was running and following instructions. And then when it came time to race the race, I just trusted like what I had and went for it. And I just, it just worked out in my favor, I guess.
For sure. And how do you prepare for a race? Like what, do you have like a set regiment, or is kind of every race different?
A little bit of both, honestly. I carry around a big water jug. I started doing that this year to really stay hydrated. Yeah, that's mostly the big thing, especially traveling like far distances. Like we're going to California this week. So, I mean, I'm going to be really conscious about how much water I drink, how much electrolytes I'm taking in. Am I eating the right amount of stuff? So when I get there, I don't feel, you know, lethargic, or I don't feel, you know, anything bad. Right. But leading up to the race, I just kind of try and unwind as much as I can, think about my race. Leading up to, drink a lot of coffee.
Do you like,
oh God,
do you like visualize the race? Like, do you try to like see?
Of course.
Yeah.
I take a nap sometime before we have to leave the hotel or leave wherever we're going. And as I'm unwinding and I'm like kind of like getting down. I just think about the race, and I don't know why I do that though. It's just like I'm trying to fall asleep, but my heart is literally beating out of my chest because I'm thinking about what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, like who's going to be around and how it's going to feel. But I always find a way to fall asleep because, of course, I'm lazy.
In terms of your overall training, what do you do outside of running that sort of helps you prepare?
Just listen to my body and what it needs for like those specific days. I've put a lot of thought into nutrition this year, putting the right stuff in your body, really thinking about like, should I be stretching or like, should I go out in the sun for like 4 hours and like kick a soccer ball around? Like just making like those little conscious decisions of just like, there's a bigger picture. These little things matter. Just kind of having that more mature mindset instead of acting impulsively on what I want to do and more focusing on like what I want or what I need to do. And that's carried me along. But there's no like specific thing that I do. Like I don't do bike rides after runs. Most of the time it's just after running, I've really taken like a step towards, doing the rehab and like being proactive in my recovery work. That's probably been the biggest thing so far this year.
So it's pretty unstructured. You just kind of
it's all based on what I need, what I'm feeling. If the coach says for me to do something specifically, I'm gonna do it, even if I don't agree with it. But I mean, obviously, he knows more than I do, so who am I to question?
Yeah. Now, you guys, I got to eat at the Tank a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
you guys ate some good food there.
Oh yeah, it's been so nice this year. Way better than what it's been in the past, and they're putting out great fresh food, and I'm taking advantage of it as much as I can.
Yeah. It's like a smoothie bar and a stir fry.
It's wonderful.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You've been to nationals a few times. What is that atmosphere like?
It's something that is hard to describe until like you get there and like you're a part of it. It's like, because you're there, people are looking around at you like you're one of the best, and you're looking at them like, oh crap, well, like he's one of the best too. People just kind of carry themselves with like this different attitude of just like I got it, and if you want it, come get it kind of thing. Very intimidating your first time around, but once you go a couple times, you start getting like, you get that moxie, it's just like, I'm just as good. Why am I freaking out? Like they should be scared of me.
True. And we ask this every show. What are your like top 3 recommendations for like young athletes?
The first thing.
Yeah, that either you've learned or you've heard that like you wish you would have known when you were a younger athlete.
The first thing that I will say is to like never listen to what other people have to say. Like I'm in cross country. Like most people don't view it as much of a sport, but I'm luckily one of the better people in the country for it. And I've worked my butt off for it. So I would say like, if you're passionate about something, like work at it. Don't be ashamed of what you do.
Sure.
Then the next thing is, if you're going to do something, like work for it. I mean, don't go in half-heartedly with something, because then you're never going to achieve whatever you want to achieve. And if you go in with mediocre goals, you're going to have mediocre results. So set the bar high, outwork everybody as much as you can, and then the results will show in everything you do. That doesn't even go for athletics. That shows in academics. That shows in work. That shows with relationships. It's just work hard. And if people make fun of you for it, you probably don't want to be around those people.
Sure. And then I have another question for you. Did you ever like wanted to like participate in an ultra marathon? I had a teacher in high school that ran I think he ran 52 miles every day, and he did the 100-mile race. And literally the next day he came back, because he got 3 days off of school for it. The next day he came back, his classroom was on the 3rd level, and we had a fire drill. We had to walk all the way down and all the way back up. So I was just curious if that was ever something you were interested in doing.
That will be something that I'm interested in much later from what I'm doing now, because most of what I have to do is all based on shorter distances. So people ask me all the time, they're like, oh, like what's your marathon time and stuff? I was like, dude, I don't run the marathon. As that's something that's going to happen much later on in life. And obviously, like I will run one just because I want to know, just like, let's just see what happens one day. And then, if I decide to do an ultra marathon, that means my life has gone a certain way. And if I'm ready to do that, then I'm ready to take on a lion and a bear at the same time. So I'll be ready when that time comes. I'll know it in my body. It's like, all right, yeah.
Yeah, I will never know that time. So
I might never either.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate having you.
Thank you guys for having me. It's been a blast. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Good luck with everything else.
Oh, thanks. It's going to be a great year.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Thank you.